How do you want? Yeah, how do you want me to? Yeah.
Normal? I'm going normal right now?
You want me to talk or? It's okay. We're on Fort Greene. Oh no, we're across from Brooklyn Technical High School, in the Fort Greene section of Brooklyn. We're actually come up on a group of young men who are recently come out of school. I'm sure they're going to be bright and chipper and very amazed to see this camera here. But welcome to Brooklyn. You can see there are, even in the YouTube generation, they're a little afraid of being on camera. Never know who we are, what we're doing. We could be DEA, it could be CIA, or just could be the truant officer, who knows. In any event, this is one of the many architectural wonders of Fort Greene. It's one of the ugliest buildings I've ever seen.
Why is it like me when I was?
I just said it's ugly as hell. Look at this thing. It's ghastly. In a beautiful brownstone neighborhood, someone built that piece of whatever. Excuse me.
How long have you been living here?
I've been living in Fort Greene since 1985. I moved here Brooklyn Day, 1985. I remember it because I didn't know it was Brooklyn Day. I'd been living in Queens for about 4 years after getting out of college. I'd been in Brooklyn my whole life up until then. And so coming back to Brooklyn was a big deal for me, obviously, because I'm from here. But I'd never been in any time in Fort Greene. I had one girlfriend who I dated who had lived here. I didn't really know what it was, you know. It was kind of like this area, because like most people who grew up in Brooklyn, I went to downtown Brooklyn a lot to shop. A&S, the movie theaters were down near the Albee Square Theater, which later became the Albee Square Mall, and Junior's, which is still there, which is a landmark kind of. But I never really spent any time over here. All I knew for sure is this park over here that I'm going to go by was known for running the gauntlet. There were a lot of gangs. So they'd have guys run up and down, get their ass whipped, and get initiated into the gang.
And what made you come there?
I got a really great place for a little bit of money. And that was the thing about Fort Greene. If you were a young person who didn't have a lot of means, you could get a place that had wood floors, marble fireplace, a backyard for like $1,000 a month. And that's what I had. I had like 2 bedrooms. I had like a 35-foot ceiling, marble fireplace, wood floors, exposed brick, and a backyard. So we're going to go the other way now. I just want to stop here a minute. So this building right here that all the kids are standing in front of, this was the home when Spike Lee and Spike really got off the ground after he did She's Gotta Have It. He bought this building, the firehouse, and this was his home base for all the glory years. Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing. I think School Days he moved in around the time of School Days. Really up until a few years ago, this was the home of 40 Acres and A Mule Filmworks. There are editing bays in there and his own offices. And the picture that I have with Spike and all of us together was taken inside this space here. 124 DeKalb Avenue. So this is a kind of a real landmark. It's not only a Fort Greene landmark, it's a cinema landmark, because it's the first black filmmaker to really make an impact as an independent filmmaker, and this became the centerpiece of his organization. So everyone came in here to have table readings. Denzel came in here, and John Turturro came in here, and anybody who worked with Spike, the top floor, they had table readings of all those great films. So you'd see anybody and everybody roll through here who was in cinema. You know, Ernest Dickerson and great producers, and the walls of this place used to be full of posters from amazing films. So it became a real like destination to get into Spike's office and just hang out there and see what's going on. And there was always something going on, because aside from the movies, he would do videos. He did commercials. It was really Michael Jordan came up in here to have meetings. I mean, this was like a real scene. And this is like, it became a magnet for people, artists all around, because all the crew people who worked for Spike started moving in the area. So he put actors would live down there, like Halle Berry, when she was doing, I think, Jungle Fever, rented an apartment down there. And also Fishburne lived over here, Lawrence Fishburne, Wesley Snipes. So it was an incredible amount of energy, and this was the centerpiece for a lot of what went on in Fort Greene.
And when did he move in? Like, what's the time frame? What's the year?
I'm going to say 88, 89.
So after you'd moved here.
Oh yeah, when I met Spike, he lived in a kind of one-room joint. Studio would be probably overstating what it was on Adelphi, and Adelphi is on the other side of Myrtle, where this was, and Myrtle's like the dividing line. That's like the more beat-down side of Fort Greene. And he rented a rig room there. He had his big editing machine, and that was the beginning of. So this is the success side. This is I've already made it, and I'm gonna stay based out of Fort Greene. At one point, he owned like about 6 buildings around here. He owned a building around the corner on St. Felix. He owned a couple of buildings on the street down there. On the other side of Brooklyn Tech, he owned Spike's joint, which is down here, and a couple of other buildings. So he really became a fixture. He was the mayor of Fort Greene.
The mayor of Fort Greene. So this would be like the mayor's house.
This is definitely the mayor's house. And like you'd ring this little buzzer, and you have to pull the gate open to get in. It's a fucking heavy gate. And then go to the little door, and this is a staircase. This is a hallway here. Takes you upstairs.
Describe like a typical day, like if you'd come in, stop in, like who would be sitting there, what would people be doing?
I mean, it was the first floor was accounting and business in the back. Second floor there was Spike's. This room right here, there's editing machines up there. So you might see Barry Alexander Brown or Sam Pollard editing a film, a documentary, something Spike was working on. In the back on that floor, there were people sitting in little offices around, and Spike had a big desk in the back. There was a little staircase thing up there where people were upstairs, and there was another floor. And the other floor was where a lot of the readings and some of that kind of work was done. So it was a real production company. Then he had different spots as he expanded and did more work, especially during the heyday from 88 to really the mid-90s when he was doing a film a year. There was always some stuff going on around here. And you'd see his ADs and people running through for meetings. And there's a lot of people who live around here to this day who made money from Spike and sort of stayed based there.
What happened to 40 Acres and a Mule?
Oh, it still exists. I mean, when he moved out West Side, I think he sold this spot. He still has a building on the next block, which he uses for I guess he consolidated everything and sold off most of these other pieces over time. He spends a lot of time at his ad agency in the city now, and also, obviously on location.
So let's keep walking.
Yeah.
Can we get the gate, the buzzer, and then a quick shot of the building?
Right. I don't want to buzz it too hard. Who knows?
Sure. Let me just get the gate real quick.
Does it sound like nuts?
No, not bad.
Really?
Because of the loft.
Okay.
But also because the kids.
And you see them in the back.
You're seeing them. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.